Good morning, guys. Today we're going to be talking about 10.8 equations of circles with the center at the origin. So this is going to be a little bit different. We're going to have two different sections this week. First one will be with circles with the center at the origin, and then the second day will be center not being at the origin. So what you guys will be tested on is I can write the equation of a circle and draw a circle given an equation. So that's what you guys will be working on today. So let's go ahead and get started. A circle with radius 10 and center 0, 0 is shown on the coordinate grid below. So again, our center is at 0, 0, has a radius of 10. They ask us, is the point 6, 8 on the graph? So if I go ahead and I graph that point, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, they want to know if that's on the graph. Now, it looks like it is, but can we be certain? Well, we can be. So if you recall, we went 6 to the right, and then we went 8 up. Well, from here, I can go ahead and connect from the center to the edge line, to the edge of the circle, and that creates a radius for us. Now, we already know that our radius is 10. This also creates a right triangle. So if I have a right triangle and I need to find a missing side, I can use Pythagorean's theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared, where c squared is in fact our radius. And we know our radius is 10, so I'm going to go ahead and plug in 10 squared for c. And then I'll plug in my side lengths, 6 and 8, for a and b. So we're left with 6 squared plus 8 squared equals 10 squared. Now if this is a true statement, if it comes out equal to it, then I know that that point lies on the circle's edge. If it doesn't, then I know it's either inside or outside depending on the value that we get for a squared plus b squared. So it completely depends on this equation, this Pythagorean's theorem once again. So let's see what happens. We get 36 plus 64 equals 100, which leaves us with 100 equals 100. Now this checks out. So therefore, we know, yes, the point 6, 8 lies on the graph itself. What about the point -6, -8? So I'll go ahead and bring that up. There's our center. The point -6, -8 also does. So if I go ahead and I draw this right triangle here, and again, this red point is, now it's blue, -6, -8. So that's left 6, down 8, and then that would be our radius. And then give us -8 squared plus -6 squared equals 10 squared. Now, if you're going to do this on the calculator, make sure that you put parentheses around, or else it won't count that negative. And they'll give us 64 plus 36 equals 100 once again. So we're left with 100 equals 100. So yes, both of them fall on the circle. Now, what's the equation of this circle? So I went ahead and I wrote the equation of a circle right up here. And the equation of a circle typically would be x minus x center squared plus y minus y center squared equals radius squared. And when I say center, that's where the center of the circle is located. So in this case, it's 0 and 0 because it's at the origin. It's at 0, 0. So the equation of this circle would be x squared, because again, if I plug in 0 for x subset c, x minus 0 is just x. So I'm left with x squared plus, same with y squared, so I plugged in 0 once again, equals our radius squared. Well, what's our radius here? In this case, it's 10, so 10 squared. So x squared plus y squared equals 100. This is the equation of this graphed circle here. So if our center is the origin, it'll always be x squared plus y squared equals whatever the radius is squared. That's our equation. So again, here's our radius. We found out that's 10 and it works out. And again, you can write it either way. I'd prefer in this case that you guys write it like this. X squared plus y squared equals 100 squared, but in the next video, you're going to notice them shifting towards this. So very important that you know that you can write it as this as well. Now, some important things with this equation, and I'll be covering this in the next video as well. These are subtraction signs here. So let's say that is at the point 1, 3. Well, then my equation would be x minus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals whatever our radius is. If it's still 10, it'd be 100 in this case. So just something to pay attention to. Wherever your center is, the signs are always going to be opposite. Now, on your homework, you're going to notice that these are plus signs all the time because we try and keep it positive. So this would be x plus negative 1 squared plus y plus negative 3 squared. So multiple ways to write these. Just be wary of that when you're going through the homework, that they should be written with a plus sign here typically, because that's the way that you guys will normally see these. So just keep track of which signs you're using for your numbers. If you mess up your numbers and you choose the one with the wrong sign, you will miss points on that problem. So just be wary of that. That's the main thing to look out for with these types of problems, is just that sign right in the center and then the signs of both your centers. So again, just be wary of it. And you're more than likely going to see it as plus on the homework when you're answering your questions. So you're just going to need to fill in the numbers for it. Just be careful. All right. What is the radius of the following circles? So for this first one, x squared plus y squared equals 16. Well, I know x squared plus y squared equals our radius squared, right? So 16 would be our radius squared. So we know 16 is equal to r squared. If we take the square root of both sides, we find out that r is equal to 4. So that's our radius. Now for this next one, I do the same exact thing. 256 equals r squared. If I take the square root of both sides, we find out that r is equal to 16. So there we have it. Now, what is the equation of a circle with center at the origin and radius r? Now, if we're at the origin, that means that we're at 0, 0. That's where the origin would be. So our x1 and our y1 up here, or x center and y center, is 0 and 0. So these just disappear. These are now gone. And our radius is r. So this doesn't change. So we're left with x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So this is the most common equation that you'll see when we're at the origin. If we're not at the origin, it changes. But if we are, then it's this equation right here. All right, let's go ahead and try this out. Graph x squared plus y squared equals 49. First off, what is the radius? Well, if r squared is equal to 49, then that means that r must be equal to 7. So our radius is 7 here. Our center is at 0, 0, because we're not doing x minus anything or y minus anything. We just have x squared plus y squared. So our center is 0, 0. And then I can go ahead and draw this. So there's my center. My radius is 7 away, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I go ahead and I make a point on each axis 7 units away. From there, I can just create my curve along the edge, and it will create my circle as I move around it. And there we have it. There's our graph. Now, lastly, does the point 4, 5 lie on the circle? If not, where is it? So let's go ahead and graph this point, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if we look at this point, does it look like it's inside the circle? Or does it look like it's on the circle? Or does it look like it's outside the circle? Well, if we look at it, it looks like it's a little bit inside the circle. But we can go ahead and check that. So let's see. So I make my right triangle. I know that I went to the right 4 and up 5. And my radius is 7. So this should be 7 here. So we have 5 squared plus 4 squared equals 7 squared. This will give us 25 plus 16 equals 49. 25 plus 16 will give us 41 equals 49. Is this a true statement? No, this is not a true statement. So it does not lie on the circle. So I can say no. It lies inside the circle. So, what this means, if a squared plus b squared is less than r squared, then we have it inside the circle. As we just saw, a squared plus b squared was less than c squared, less than our radius squared, so we're inside the circle. If a squared plus b squared equals c squared, I'll do r squared once again, our radius squared, that means that we're on the circle. And then if a squared plus b squared is greater than r squared, that means we're outside the circle. So these are the hints in determining whether we're inside, on, or outside the circle. It all depends on whether those 2 points that we have, if I were to square them, are they bigger than, less than, or equal to the radius of the circle? All right, let's go ahead and keep going. Next up, try this one out on your own. If you need to pause the video, please do. Graph x squared plus y squared equals 64. So again, we know our center is at 0, 0, so I can go ahead and draw that. Our radius squared is 64, so if r squared equals, if r squared equals 64, then r is equal to 8. So from there, I can go ahead and I can graph my circle. And then do the points -4, 7 and 0, 8 lie on the circle. If not, where are they? So let's go ahead and check this first point, -4, 7. So for -4, 7, I go left 4, and I go up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me go ahead and double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. So let's go ahead and check and see where this lies in our circle. So we have -4 squared plus 7 squared, and we want to know the relation to the radius squared, 8 squared. So we now have 16 plus 49 equals 64. Well, 16 plus 49 is 65. That does not equal 64. So therefore, this point here, since a squared plus b squared is greater than our radius squared, this point is outside the circle. So no, -4, 7 is outside the circle. Let's go ahead and check our other point. Our other point is 0, -8. If I look at 0, -8, it's right here. 0, -8. Now, if I look at that, that is our radius length. Our radius length is -8. It's going from the center. It's a straight line. It should work perfectly, and it does work perfectly. In fact, if you want to see the math, and I can just say yes, 0, -8, lies on the circle. Here's the math for it. 0 squared plus -8 squared equals our radius squared. 64 equals 64. It checks out. So that way works as well. Just be wary of it in terms of if it looks like it's on the circle, which this point definitely did, it could be extremely, extremely close. So just be wary of that. All right. Other than that, there we go. Other than that, your homework is available on Schoology. This is the last week of assignments for this course this year. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Send me an email. Send me a message in Schoology, whatever you guys need to do to contact me. Other than that, have a great rest of your day, guys. If you need anything, please let me know. Have a great one. Stay safe.